Hey guys, welcome to episode 3. Today we started a project in Unreal Engine and we set up version control. We're going to continue doing new things. What I mean by that is new to me. So typically in prior projects, I've started them by doing a concept called Start with the Art. And I heard a presenter at an Epic Games demonstration use that term, start with the art. So what that means is you kind of start with the visual fun stuff so that you get to have some nice things to look at when you start your project. And that's normally the way I've gone, but I want to do things a little different. And we're going to start with some basic programming that I think will be beneficial in the long run. And then there's really like three areas that I want to focus on, which I've tended to avoid in the past, which is data tables and structs and data assets and blueprint interfaces. So I think probably for the next week, we'll be playing with these concepts and beginning with data tables. I just met with someone who might be my new mentor who said, give data tables a try. So I'm going to go ahead and let's talk about data tables because can explain it better. Just reading off something simple than trying to explain it. So data tables are powerful assets that store organized data in rows and columns, acting like spreadsheets to manage game data. For instance, items, stats, character attributes, level settings, and a centralized, easy to edit file, allowing designers to manage large amounts of information without digging into code, and can even be imported and exported via CSV or JSON. Each row represents an entry and maps to a defined structure or a struct that dictates the data fields, making data-driven design efficient and accessible. So there's all kinds of videos and tutorials on this. I've seen Gorka Games. His is good. I like his stuff. And I've seen a couple other guys. I've seen Fortuna. I like his videos. But we're going to go ahead and dive in. So I know, I've used them before, but I really want to make them a core piece of this project. So we're going to get started by opening the, what do you call this? The content drawer. I'm going to dock it because I keep having to go back and forth. So I've got it docked. Now, in blueprints, I wonder if I should make a new folder called like data or something. Yeah. Let's do a new, right click, new folder, data, tables. I'm not sure if people usually store this in blueprints. I don't think they would because, especially for data tables, maybe data assets would go in blueprints, but from what I understand, data tables, they just store values. You're not building any logic off of them. So I've got our new folder, data tables. I'm going to right click here and type in to search data table. Yeah, I forgot. This is what I expected. So in order to create a data table, you need a structure or a struct. So if we click the drop down, there's some preset here. But what I want to do and what I want to focus on is creating, like our first thing that we're going to focus on is creating the battle system in a turn-based battle game or a JRPG. And my main inspiration is Final Fantasy VIII. So in order to create a data table, that last screen, you need a struct. So if you right click and type in struct, it's short for structure. So I'm going to name this S underscore. That's the, I think, typical naming convention for structs. And I'm just going to pick something random that I want to focus on in the battle. Typically it's like attack, item, magic, maybe a summon, and yeah, that'd be cool. Summon and probably flee. So I think right now items would probably be most interesting because items you can use in battle mode and in explore mode. Um, and what a struct is, if you open it, it's kind of like a wallet of variables that you can store. So right now there's this member vars variable 0. I don't really know what that is, but okay. When you click add variable, you get to select what kind of variable is here. So if I think of items, if you think of an item inventory, think about like at a shop or in the battle, what do you see? You see an item name. You see an item costs, I guess. Not really in the battle though. Item quantity. Oh, how about this item description? Let's probably put that up. And then that's probably it. I don't think the results of the item will go here. We'll find out though. We'll talk to some AI and get some concepts, but at least for now, we're going to do item name, item description, and item quantity. And then over to the right, you see they're all Booleans right now. So I'm going to change the variable types. And what that means is, and the item name is a variable because unless we only had one item for the entire game, that I guess wouldn't be a variable. I mean, in a sense, maybe it is, but we are going to choose, I think it's going to be name. I'm not sure if it should be name or string. Name, I think, is like a hard key. And maybe that's correct. I guess I'll have to, maybe we'll learn that's the wrong one. Item description will be string. Localized text or text string, yeah, description. And item quantity, that's going to be an integer. Items typically have a cost, like in a shop, but right now I'm just focusing on the battle. And if you expand each of these, I don't think anything is, multi-line text maybe for description. Should this properly allow multiple lines of text? I mean, right now, no. So we're going to save it. And now when I first created this, it was like a yellow checkbox, but now it's this blue plus, meaning it's ready to be checked in. What does the highlight say? Item is scheduled for addition. So in the last episode, we set up our version control. That's what that flags or indicates. Okay, so now that we have our struct, you know what? I probably even want subfolders. That's something else too that we haven't talked about, but very quickly, your folders are going to become larger than you anticipated. So it's so crucial to keep with the naming conventions and folder structure. So I'm going to go ahead and right-click New Folder. I'm going to name this one DT Items. I wonder if I should name it Battle Items. Yeah, because probably not all items will be used. I wonder. Well, right now we'll just keep it like that. We'll see if we run into something. What I'm wondering is, should we have two data tables, one for like explore items, and then one for battle items? But we'll see if we run into that later. So I'm dragging it to move it, double clicking to open my new subfolder. So now that we have a struct, let's go to data table. I'm gonna click it here, pick a row structure. Now we can find our S item structure and click OK. Data table items. Yeah, should I name that battle items? I'm not sure. We'll get to it. All right, data tables, items. And I made this subfolder because I'm going to have multiple data tables. I'm going to have some like probably magic like spells or skills, maybe character health and a few things, or like character stats, which could include like attack speed, range, all kinds of different things with some presets and calculations. So right now we're just doing items. Pointing out one more time, you have the question mark here because we just added this data table. Once we save it, it's going to turn like that struct. Let's go save all. I don't know if that means it's loading. Oh yeah, syncing. Now it's got the plus thanks to our version control we set up last episode. It's the last time I'm going to mention that, but let's open this up now, our new thing. Doesn't look like I can expand this, but now we have a data table. If you remember, we were reading the definition. It's kind of like a spreadsheet. So the top options found on the top toolbar is to re-import or add. So what I'm going to do is add a new row. I wish I could. Is there no way to expand this? I guess one at a time. So if we click on our first row, row 1, let's just start with a potion. Okay, something simple. It's going to go something crazy, but not that clever. Item description, heals 20 units. Let's just say that. So item name, the variable type in the struct we set up was a name. Item description was a string. And item quantity was an integer. So let's just say 1. Now we can set another one by clicking add. I mean, we can pretend to fill these out or add again. Let's name potion elixir fully heals unit. Item quantity, also 1. I'm not quite sure. Item quantity, I think somewhere here you can set a default data table details. Is that default? No. Okay, maybe when we start assigning this to some logic, we can. And then you can, I think, edit like these row names, rename. Interesting, okay. I might rename these in a bit. I wonder what happens if I go rename. Let's just name this 1. Is the next one smartly going to be 2? Nope. All right. We're going to keep it like that. Item description. Item quantity. Just do 1. Okay. So now we have set up our data table. So what are we going to do with this? We have lots of options. The first thing that I'm thinking of doing in the next couple episodes is assigning this to, what are we going to do? Let me think about this. Yeah, I haven't decided, but either with the default third-person character, which is this guy, either with him or we'll create a new character, and then we'll create a couple of children under these characters. Then we're gonna be using them to print some strings of the data tables. So before I go into that though, there's one more feature in data tables that I want to test. I was watching a video from, I think, Game Dev Cave, who was re-importing CSV files. So I just want to test that because I have not done that before. So let's exit. Content. Let's find our blueprints. Oops, if I have it. Let's go to data tables, our items. So what I want to do here, I think is, so here's re-import, but what I want to do, I think from here was like export. Export as CSV. T items. happens when I open this CSV. So I've got my CSV here now. Oh, it's Excel. Let me open up Google Docs. It looks like I ran out of luck because I don't have Excel. Just like the CSV file, but I wish I could like open it with the Google Docs, but everything is connected to Microsoft. Oh well, if somebody knows how to get this over to CSV so I can go over to Google Docs, that'd be cool. Maybe you can comment. I don't really want to look into that right now. So what I was going to do and what I can do later is you can export by right-clicking. You export as CSV or JSON, and then what you can do is then re-import with all of the correct coding, like dozens or hundreds of rows, rather than manually adding them one at a time like this. So it's supposed to be a really cool way to get high amounts of data in here. So we've got our data table set up. Let's pretend we did the import export. I'll figure it out later. Another thing I want to do is data assets and blueprint interfaces, but we'll save that for the next video. So I think what we can do is test a little bit on using these. Maybe we can get it on a widget in the next video, but now I just want to kind of play with it. Where's my, should I do in the controller or the character? Got my third person character, controller. I think best practice is to leave the character alone. So the character again is what we saw running around, but the controller is like all of the inputs. And I can't remember correctly, but I think the best practice is to make edits in the controller. Maybe that's the complete opposite. Let me know. Excuse me. So the event begin play, input mappings, and touch UI to local players. What we're looking at now is a blueprint. So let me see that versus the third person folder and our blueprints. Let's check out the character. IA look, input action. So what we're looking at is enhanced input actions. That's like as of 5.4, I think, the new way to have the inputs have the whatever you set up the input, how it responds. So right now is enhanced input action or IA look, which means when it's triggered, there's a function or an event called aim. And that happens whether you use a thumbstick or a mouse or the whatever key that they have entered here. But I want to scroll down and I'm in the character. I think I was just talking about not doing it in the character, but I think it's going to be simple. So what I want to do every time we jump, let's just say every time we jump, we just want to display something here. I guess we can pretend like every time we jump, we're going to get 20 units healed. So in order to do that, I need to call this data table and then do a print string. That's all we're going to do. Keep it simple as possible. But even then, I might run into some issues. So let's try it. So we're going to go to add a variable here by clicking the plus icon on the variable. And the new variable is going to be, let's just say, item. Let's name it battle item. And here, we're going to name it, or the variable type is going to be our data table. Or is it going to be DT underscore items? Nope. Let's do data table. And then let's do, I think, data table row. On battle item. I don't know what we call it. Battle item data, maybe? It's kind of confusing. That might be confusing. So battle item at the data table. Battle item row. Maybe battle item details. That'd be easier to remember. About battle item table. Yeah, battle item data table and battle item details. It still might be kind of confusing. But what I want to do is drag each of these out by holding my control key and bringing that out and bringing this out. Same thing. So every time we jump, what we want is to display the potions or the descriptions. So what I want to do here is I wonder what options I have. If you drag out the pin, it gives you what available options there are. And because of the color of this is a dark blue, it means it's a struct. So we can right click and we can split the struct. So now we can get the data table and the row name. All right, sorry about that. I had to take a break and do some watching. So we have both of these, the data table now and the data table row handle. So what you can do now is drag off either of these pins and scroll on down to the data table function. Now let's see, what about this one? Data table. I want this one. So get data table column names or row names. Let's do row names. No, sorry, one moment. From here, from the data table, we want to get the row names. That's what we just did. Same thing. Get data table row. Okay, I must have been, oh, I think I was typing name, but it's just data table row. Then here we can select that or drag this into here. And then one thing to be aware of is the row name is not the item name. The row name is in the data table, the row name. And then another thing to be aware of is when you're dealing with variables, they have to be set. So this is a get. There's a get and a set type of variable. When we drag this out, right now there's data table none and row name none. So what I encountered during that brief break was, let's say we have this set up correctly, then we're going to get the data table row, and then we're going to print the string, which is what we want. But first, so we have the data table and we have the row name, but what we want to do is break the struct, which means we want to get access to each column now. Is it columns? Item name, description, and quantity. Yes. So we're calling the data table, we're accessing the row name, and then we're breaking it down further. So for here, we can then drag and drop item description. And then what I was hoping is like maybe the first row or the first, yeah, basically I was hoping the first row. And then the issue that I encountered was I was clicking play. Oh, first of all, I'm getting a pop-up. Failed to resolve the table input. Be sure the data table is valid. So I thought, okay, you come into here. Actually, the first thing I did was I tried to set it by clicking Alt, dragging, and I tried to set the data table. Maybe this works actually. Let's try it. So I wanted to set the data table, and we'll compile. That's one way to do it. It's kind of the longer way. Let's see if that does anything. Let's click play. Nothing. Still invalid. Okay, so that did not help anyway. So we delete it. We're going to continue on over here. In the battle item details now, then I figured, okay, well, we have to set the variable, which means everything needs a default. So if we select our data table items, go to compile, play, and we jump by pushing the spacebar. Still nothing. I was getting a result of none earlier. And then I thought I was like an error, like it was pulling none, but it was actually really reading none. So let's go over here to the item row. And let's add on the row not found. Let's add another print string. This is kind of like debugging. So if it's not found, that means something isn't working correctly in the logic. Let's put not working as our error notice. So let's compile and play. So now we have heals 20 units every time I push that spacebar jump. Heals 20 units, heals 20 units. So this is a small win, but it's good because we are testing and making progress on getting our data table to receive inputs and react how we want it. So I don't need this. One thing though that I'm not too happy with is I'm really hoping that this can be more flexible. I don't want to have to set it here each time unless I can. I mean, what happens if I do another get? Or I guess, yeah, sure, get. Then you can split it. Now I've got, what if I change it here? I mean, yeah, that's fine, but new row 1. Okay, it's also over here. Well, let's just test it anyway. So we'll go to new row 1, compile, and now we should get a different result. It's not going to be the fully healed. Yes, it is. Let's try a different one. New row. Heals 20 units versus the fully heals unit. So, oh, it's because I had 2 fully heals units because we didn't finish setting this up. Okay. So I guess though, this is the default, but I can still, for example, what I don't want to be is limited to these 2. And I think it's okay. It's understood that we don't have to do that. Maybe we'll do that in the next video. We're just going to dive in further here. So today and then I guess I have to give a shout out thanks to Gorka because I got stuck on what I thought was something super simple. But like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, data tables is something that I've kind of avoided. So I think once we get the hang of it, it's going to be something easy. I've seen other videos you can do like random selections on accessing what items you're looking for. So it's kind of the purpose of this video. We're going to learn together. But I do want to continue on this path of data tables. So I think what I'm going to do next is maybe do a thing where we walk up to an item and maybe pick it up. And then the item name from the data table will display on the print string. I was wondering whether we should do a widget, which is like a user interface, or blueprint interface next. But I think we've got the simplest of the simple here. So I want to combine it with something else very simple, like our first steps to blueprint interfaces. So hopefully this was all right. We'll see you in the next episode. Thanks.